Okay, so we need to fill in the ISN for a few things today. Page 5 in the ISN, parallel lines. We're going to label this box first because I want to be able to write down some things. So let's label this A, B on the back right, C on the front corner, D on the left top front, then E, F, and G. Okay, and you want it labeled the same as me because you want to make sure you're writing down things that are actually true. Okay. Now, parallel lines are coplanar, meaning they're in the same plane. That do not intersect. You guys already have that labeled as page 5, so I don't need to keep that there. Okay, I'd rather you said do not intersect than do not touch, okay? They don't intersect. I know that is what it means. They do not run into each other. If they did, if two lines do intersect, it's in one point. I'm going to highlight the parallel lines because I'm underline that in pink. I'm going to use pink to show that line AB parallel to line BC. I'm going to write that down. And you use a line symbol and 2 points to name a line. Line AB, and then a symbol for parallel to line BC. And letter order doesn't matter. All right, now let's talk about what skew lines are. Skew lines I'm going to do in a different color. Green. Skew lines are non-coplanar lines okay, so that means not in the same plane. That do not intersect. So for that, I'm going to choose line DE. Now I want a line that doesn't touch it, ever. It can't be parallel, all right? It's also not parallel to it, because I think some people have a misconception that if I said BD, I would have a line that's not coplanar with DE. But BD would be parallel to it. And it is in the same plane because there's a plane that cuts through the middle of the box. Okay, so it can't be BD, it can't be CF. It would need to be something going in a totally different direction on a different plane. So FD would be skew with DE. I'm not saying there's no other lines that would be skew with it, but I didn't label anything on the back, and so this is our best choice. It can't be EF because it would run into it. All right, so I'm going to grab my pen again, and I'm going to make a statement that line DE is skew with or to line FD. All right, next I'm going to talk about parallel planes. Of course, those are planes that do not intersect. All right, so you could draw planes that don't intersect by making a little parallelogram and one above the other. Or you could use the box and name a pair. I mean, they could also go this way. Those would not touch. You don't want to use rectangles, though, or squares. An example in this diagram, if we did the top, that could be called plane A, B, C, D, or you can just use 3 letters. And if you want to use 4, that's fine, but you can't use more than 4. All right, so 3 to 4 letters is fine for naming a plane. Plane ABCD would be parallel to plane. I don't have 4 letters on the bottom, but it would be the bottom. So how am I going to name it? Now you can draw it if you want. It's parallel to this, and if I put another letter back there, say H, that'd be plane. You can just use 3 letters though, EFT. Up to you if you want to add that in. If you want to draw it, then you would need to. Anybody need this still? All right, so next, we're going to talk about graphing lines today, and you've done that in Algebra 1. You need to know what slope-intercept form is. It is y equals m times x plus v. What I find the most common mistake about naming the slope in a line, the slope-intercept form, is kids add on the x. Slope is a number. It is only the m part of the equation. Slope equals the m. It is the number or coefficient of x. The b value is called the y-intercept. Okay, now, what slope means is the change in the vertical change over the horizontal change. And I kind of wrote this stuff a little bit too close to where my slope definition is. Another way to say vertical change over horizontal change is change in y with a delta symbol over change in x, which is the triangle means change. You might have seen that in science before. Okay, vertically means up or down. Horizontally is right or left. So it's the vertical change, y change over the x change. Y-intercept means where it crosses the x-axis, or where the line crosses I said x. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I just said that. Where the line crosses the y-axis. It's the y-intercept. And I'm going to draw a little picture of that. I'm going to try to fit that. I'm making sure I'm looking at what your ISN looks like and where you've got to fit stuff. Crosses means intersects. I like that word better because it's a geometry term. All right, so for a little picture of that, the y-axis is the one going up and down. And that would be where it crosses the y-axis. I'm going to use my little highlighter. It would be some point on that y-axis. That would be whatever b happens to be, and it could be positive or negative. That's where you put b, on the y-axis. Now, I'm going to pause for a second. I'm going to talk about, well, I want to show kids something. How do you climb stairs? If you're going to go upstairs, what do you do with your foot? What do you have first? Yeah, if you push it in, out, if you put your foot out, you'd take the stair, and that would hurt. So what you gotta do is pick up your foot. All right, so I pick up my foot. That's the change in Y. That's why it's vertical change, and then you stick it out. You pick it up, stick it out. You pick it up, stick it out. That's how you climb a stair. And if you're going uphill, this is positive slope. If it's coming downhill, now you have to lower your foot and stick it out. Lower your foot, stick it out. Lower your foot, stick it out. This is negative slope when you're going down. Now, sometimes you don't have any stairs, and that's when you're walking across your floor. But there is a slope because you can walk on it. The slope of a line that's horizontal, like the ground is 0. Now, in the walls of your house, can you walk on the walls? Now, technically, you'd have to have an apparatus to do that, right? So you can't do that, all right? So we normally say we cannot walk on a wall where a vertical line has no slope, or it has a slope that is undefined. I have a slope man in the room. You don't need to draw this on your paper right now, but I want you to go over on the bulletin board, but because I'm recording, I'm going to draw it on here. You don't need to put this on your paper. You really don't have room for it. But slope man in my room shows that he has an eyebrow that goes up on the left, and that's positive slope. Eyebrow going down on the right, which is negative slope. He has a nose that's the vertical line, which is an undefined slope. That makes his nose. And then he has a mouth that's flat, that's the horizontal line, and we give him a dimple because the slope is 0. Kind of helps remember it. He's on the bulletin board. He's also in the back on the bulletin board. Alright, so what we're going to do now is, wait, I already wrote all the definitions. I got everything I want there. We're going to do an example of graphing a couple of lines. I'm going to rewrite the equation. And I'm going to talk about what the parts are to the equation. I think I did slope in pink. Okay, the slope of this line is 2. Which is your M value, and that is 2. You want to think of it as 2 over 1. And I know this is familiar. You've heard of this stuff before, but you might not remember it, so we're reviewing. The top number means go, make sure your phones are away. Up or down. Bottom number is right or left. This is going to mean up to, I think I'm going to erase that bottom arrow just because it does mean up to, and right 1. Now, where do we start though? We got to have a place to start in order to know what to do to move that slope. You got to have a starting place. So we start at -3. That's your B. All right, so we're going to go to -3 on the y-axis. Grab something you can see clearly. A red pen would work. And then I'm going to move my slope from that starting spot. I'm going to go up to right 1. Up to right 1. I want you to keep going. Keep going until you can't go anymore in that direction. So I've got a bunch of points on my line going this way. How would I reverse that slope to get some more? Well, I go back to my y-intercept, and instead of up right 1, I'm going to go, down to left 1. And I'm going to keep doing that until I can't do it anymore. And then I draw the line through the point. I'm going to try to hit them. I'm having a little trouble. There we go. And that is that line graph. Take the second line. Y equals -1/4 times x. Uh-oh. There's a typo here. What's missing? You don't even have an equation of a line right there. Unless there's an x. Okay. And then it's +5. This one, M, the slope is -1/4. That's going to mean we're going to go down 1 and right 4. Okay, where are we going to start? We're going to start at 5 on the y-axis. We go to 5 here. I'm going to move my slope down 1 right, 1, 2, 3, 4. Keep doing it, down 1 right, 1, 2, 3, 4. I can't do it anymore going this way, so I go back to my y-intercept and reverse it. Down 1 right 4, reversed is up 1 left, 1, 2, 3, 4. So you just reverse both directions, up 1 left, 1, 2, 3, 4. And those are points in line with the others. Try to hit them. I can give you a straight edge when we do a quiz, or if you want to use one later, a protractor would work nicely. And don't forget where your x and y axis are. We'll go ahead and label those. The y-axis is your vertical axis, and your horizontal axis is your x-axis. Alright, so if you want to show that the line, this is the line for the first equation, and this line was the second equation. Alright, let's go to the next page briefly, because we are going to do the slope formula. This is on your page 6, correct? We're only going to do part of this page because we're not going to talk about parallel and perpendicular lines until tomorrow. Okay, slope between 2 points. Points will be x1, y1, and the second point x2, y2. I'd like to highlight, I'm going to do the x's in pink and the y's in blue. You can use whatever color you want, make them separate. I just have had a lot of students who do this backwards. The y's are on top because the y's are going up. That's your vertical change, up or down. The x's are on the bottom. And always we want to think about doing the x first, but in the slope formula, you got to do the y's first. This is your numbers that go right and left. Okay, so it's not like plotting points. You have to remember that slope is going up and then over. I guess I've drawn that enough. All right, now let's look at an example. So I'm going to make up a couple of points, and then we're going to find the slope between them. So say I have 3, -7 for one point, and I have -2, 1 for another point. The one that's the x would be the 3 and the -2, and the y's are the -7 and the 1. So to do the slope, we want to do the y's first. Y's on top, x is on the bottom. This is a fraction. So I'm going to do x. I'm going to say this one's x1, this is y1, this one's x2, this is y2. I take 1 minus -7. You are supposed to subtract. That's what the formula says. Subtract the y's. And then subtract the x's. So I got 1 minus -7, Diego? Oh, you're just stretching. Okay. And -2 minus 3 for the x's. Now I simplify. If you need a calculator, you're welcome to use it. 1 minus -7 would be 1 plus 7, which is 8. -3 minus 3 would be -5. This does not reduce, so that is our slope. That would mean up 8, and one way you could do it is up 8, left 5. I prefer to do the following, and I'm going to not write that. Please don't write that. All right. I'm going to constantly tell you that the negative sign we will apply to the numerator. We're just going to say the fraction is negative. So I would always tell you to travel down 8 and then right 5. Which the reverse of that would be up 8, left 5. Okay? So I wanted to apply the negative sign to the top. It doesn't really matter where it ends up in the problem. Let's do one more example. 5, 1, and -3, 0. Got your x1, y1, x2, y2. We start with the second numbers, the blue ones, and then over the pink ones, which are going to be the x's. All right, so I'll start with the y's. You can do 0 minus 1, or you can do 1 minus 0. But if you do 1 minus 0, then you have to start with that same point the second time. So it is okay, but you got to be consistent about which point you start with. So I'm going to stick with the formula and do 0 minus 1. -3 minus 5. 0 minus 1 would be -1. -3 minus 5 would be -8. Now I wanted to do this on purpose and get a negative over a negative, because we should simplify that to +1/8. Right? And that's going to mean up 1, right 8. Alright, that's all I want to talk about in the ISN today. I'd like to go practice some graphing lines and slopes review. Alright, so I'm going to go kind of faster on this because I think we may already know a lot of this stuff. So, slope of this line. First of all, look at the line. Say to yourself, is that going uphill or downhill? Left to right. Coming down. So the slope should be negative. Okay? So we're going to count from one point to the next, and just all I'm going to do is count. So I'm going to go from here to here, and I'm just going to say, how far do I have to move? I have to go down 2, and then I got to go over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So the slope of this line is -2/7. So let's find the slope of the second line. From this point, on the furthest from the left to a one on the right, we're going to climb up 2 and right 1, 2, 3, 4. So the slope of this line is 2/4, but that reduces to 1/2. Okay, so the slope of the line would be 1/2, and you can go check it out. You can go up 1, right 2. Do you hit another nice point? Yeah, up 2, right, up 1, right 2, up 1, right 2 is the same slope. Number 3, this line's going downhill, so the slope should be negative. We're going down 1, 2, 3, and that's -3 then, and right 1, 2, 3, 4. So slope M is -3/4. We always want to go down or up first. Number 4, the leftmost point is here, down at the bottom, lower part of the line. We're going to go up to the next part. This is uphill. Just counting. I'm just showing you how I'm counting. You don't have to count the way I am. I'm just doing loops. 1, 2, 3, 4, up and right 1. So M is 4/1, and you would simplify that to just 4. Okay. Now, the slope of each line, that's saying, wait, I don't have a line to look at. Well, we need to know this format. Y equals M times X plus B. M is the coefficient of the X term. It does not include the X. So if you write down that the slope is 3/4 X, that's incorrect. It's just the location of the slope is in front of the X. So this one has a slope of 3/4. Well, where's the b, you might say? Well, if there's not one there, then it was just 0. Okay, so you can assume it was 0. Number 6, the slope is 5/3. For number 7, the slope is the negative 3/2. Oh, year 6, I forgot. We changed that. Year 6 is different. Isn't it to say x minus 7? Okay, thank you. All right, so what's the number in front of there? And I kind of made a big, ginormous 1. All right, so that's what yours says. So m is 1. Slope is 1. That would be up 1, right 1. I think 8's the same. 3/2 for the slope. All right, so we quickly identify the slope, and then I'm going to show you in a little bit how to graph the lines that would make these, would be these equations. Find the slope. Uh-oh, 17, it's not in the right format. So I need to get it in the right format. So I would get rid of the 9x by subtraction, yeah. Take away 9x from both sides. Now I'm going to have you write it a certain way. So bring down the y, the equals, and then put your negative 9x first. And that's a positive 4, so plus 4. So now it's in the y equals mx plus b form. You can see the m is in front of the x, it's negative 9. So slope is negative 9. This equation, there's two ways you could solve this one. We could add y to both sides, which would give us 2x equals y. And then with our symmetric property, we can flip it around, say y equals 2x. That was a little bit easier than subtracting 2x, because then you'd have to divide by negative 1 anyway. So we've got an m here of 2. Slope is 2. Okay, 19, we're going to need to subtract x to get y alone. Y equals, write your negative x first, and then plus 3, that's a positive 3. And then think, okay, well that's negative 1 in front of x, so m is negative 1. Uh-oh, there's no x in the next equation. This is a special kind of line. So let me help you figure out what that slope is of that line. If it says y is 3, and this is the y-axis, there's where y is 3, right here. So that means that line is always this way. It's flat. What was the slope of a horizontal line? That's the equation of this line. That's the graph of that line. And a horizontal line, to think about slope, man. His mouth. Yep, 0. Slope is 0 for a horizontal line because you can walk on it. It has a slope number, but it's 0. If it's vertical, it has no slope number. That's the one that's undefined because you can't walk on it or ski on it. Okay, let's subtract 4x on this one. We're going to have to work on this one a little harder. 5 times y is going to equal negative 4x plus 0. You don't really have to write the plus 0 part. So I think I'll just get rid of it. All right, now we're going to have to get y alone by dividing everything by 5. And that gives us, now you're going to write it like a fraction here. So just negative 4/5 times x. And my slope m is negative 4/5. Which would mean down 4, right 5. (22), we're going to need to subtract 2x. Drop down minus y. Don't forget that negative sign or minus sign, however you see it. We're going to write the negative 2x first and then minus 5. Just connect it with that sign. If it was not negative, we'd write plus 5. Now I got to get rid of that negative y. I mean, I can't have a negative. So I'm going to have to divide by what? But not y, but get rid of this is like -1, so I could divide everything by -1, okay? And you have to do it each piece, all of it. All right, so now I've got positive y equals a -2 divided by -1 would be +2, so I have 2x. -5 divided by -1 would be +5. All right, now I can see my slope. M is 2. Not 2x, just 2. Okay. 23, just subtract x. Oh my gosh, this is easier than the last one. So y equals -x plus 2. So m is -1. Kind of went quick on that one. Next one, I'll go a little slower. We got to get our y alone, so we're going to have to subtract 7x. Bring down -y. Right, -7x minus 2 on the right. Now I got to divide everything by -1 to make that y positive. And that happens to turn this whole other side positive because you got a negative over a negative, so 7x, -2 divided by -1 plus 2. And now I can see my slope, m is 7. Okay, now we're going to try graphing some lines. Y equals, I don't know why this says graph each line correctly, but obviously you want to do it correctly, else that'll be a little problem. It's y equals m times x plus b, right? If you want to jot that down. M is your slope, b is your y-intercept. I'm going to write down those parts when I go through the problems. And if you're fast because you already know how to do this, I get it. For this one, m is -4/5. I'm going to go down 4 and right 5. But I got to know where to start. My slope, b, is 1. So that's where I'm going to start. So I start on the y-axis at 1. Now I start moving my slope from there. Down 4, right 5. So I go down 1, 2, 3, 4, and right 5. Puts me at 5, -3. Go back to your y-intercept because I can't do it again on here. And I'm going to reverse my slope. Instead of down 4, right 5, I'm going to do the opposite. Opposite of down would be up 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and left 5. And now I've got another point in line with the other two. Try to hit your points. And I graph the line. All right, now I have 26. I can see the slope. M is 1/2. But what's the y-intercept? Well, if there's nothing there, then it was 0. Okay, so I got to start at 0, 0. I have a 1/2 slope, which means up 1, right 2. From that starting point at 0. Up 1, right 2. Up 1, right 2. Up 1, right 2. I can do that a few times. Go back to the starting spot at 0. Go down 1, left 2. And I can do that 3 times. And then I can draw my line nice and straight if I can hit my points and put arrows on it. All right, 27. Uh-oh. I'm missing 2 problems. So I'm going to do this. I don't like when I'm missing something. So you're 27. Can you tell me the equation, please? Y equals -5 times x, and that's it? No b? All right, so that means m equals -5, which is -5 over 1 will be down 5, right 1, and b is 0. Okay. I think, you know what, it'll be a lot better if I do it on a grid. So I'm just going to double up on number 25 and do that line. So 27 again was y equals -5x. Start at 0, 0. And then your slope, -5 over 1, would be down 5, right 1. So I'm going to go down 5, right 1. And then I'm going to go back to 0, 0 and reverse that, up 5, left 1. I must have accidentally deleted a page in here or something. So that's what it should look like for number 27. I'll need to do 28 on this graph. What was the equation for 28? Just y equals 3x. Okay, so this one has a b value, also of 0. So I'm going to start at 0, 0. The 3 slope will be 3 over 1, which will be up 3 and right 1. So from here, go up 3, right 1, do it again, and then down 3, left 1 would be the reverse. How many of you are very comfortable already with graphing lines? Okay, cool. Quite a few hands. All right, so I'll try to go a little bit quicker. B is 2, which is your starting spot on 29. The slope m is 1, which is going to be 1 over 1, up 1, and right 1. Up 1, right 1, up 1, right 1. Reverse of that, down 1, left 1. Okay, why don't you try 30, see if you graph it correctly. So this is what your line should have looked like. Any questions about number 30 for my class? All right, 31, you start at -1. Slope of 1/2 will be up, 1 up, and 2 to the right. Got time. We're going to finish. -1, up 1, right 2. Down 1, left 2. Not time to go. This one start at -2. The slope is -1. So you're going to go down 1 and right 1. I think a lot of you must have gotten ahead of me. I had planned on starting the next sheet about slope, but